So I just finished filming a unilateral leg workout for you guys. This is an extremely helpful video. If you guys are experiencing muscle imbalance or scoliosis, I made this video for you. So there's a lot of helpful tips, a lot of instruction. Make sure to stick around for the entire video. Hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Boom! Let's go. Just as a side note, these aren't all the exercises that I use, but these are the most important ones. So if you guys are interested in seeing the rest, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and toss it down in the comments. I appreciate your support. Let's get into it. So today I'm going to be taking you guys through a unilateral leg workout. If you guys are having muscle imbalance, I'm pretty sure that you're probably experiencing it definitely in your legs because these are the biggest muscles on your body. So personally, my left side is weaker. My entire left side has always been a little bit underdeveloped, not as strong as my right. So when you're performing these unilateral exercises, make sure that you're working on your weaker side first, and then following up and matching the same amount of reps and sets with your stronger side. So when I start off my leg days, I do a superset of 2 different exercises to get my legs warm. I like to do a quad extension supersetted with a reverse lunge. So I'm going to take you first through the quad extension. First things first, I like to pick a weight that's extremely light, just to make sure that I'm getting my blood flowing into the muscle, and then start to get into some working sets. So when you're setting up for the quad extension, you need to put the backrest in a position where your knees are going to be in line with this pendulum point. So every leg machine has a pendulum point, if it's an extension or a curl. You want to make sure your knees are in line with this. When I start my set, I like to start in the extended position. I like to be contracted, whatever feels most comfortable. I like to hold that for a second, and then every rep that I perform, I'm going to be returning to that point into that squeeze. So I'm going to inhale on the eccentric, and then exhale on the concentric. Come back to that point, hold it for a second, and perform that for 10 to 12 reps just for a warm-up. When you're sitting in this seat, they have these handles right here. Make sure you grab on these, pull your ass into the seat, make sure you're really secured in there. If your hips are feeling a little bit unbalanced, what I like to do is I know that my hips shift to the right a little bit, so I make sure that my spine and my core is really tightened on the left just a little bit more to make sure that I'm centered with my spine and everything feels right. And then I pull my ass into the seat, I extend, I find that contracted position that really feels comfortable, and then I do the eccentric inhale, concentric exhale, 10 to 12 reps. We're moving into the second exercise of the leg warm-up superset. This is going to be a reverse lunge. What I like to do is plant my left side because it's my weaker side. Make sure that I'm feeling centered, my hips are straight in line forward. And then as I shift my weight backwards, I want to make sure that I have full control and full stability on that left leg. As I come back, I'm going to sit into it. As I sit into it, I'm going to make sure that my knee is going to be the most comfortable position. So I don't want it bending in too far. I don't want it bending out too far. I want it straight in front, and then I push towards the sky. So you want to feel balanced and in control of that leg at all times. So as you kick back, you want to lean forward a little bit, make sure that your core is tight, and you should be able to sit in this position right here. You're going to feel it a little bit in your outer glute as well as in your quads, and you push straight back up. You don't want to be too far back, because if you're too far back, you're going to be straight above. You want to make sure that your knee is about in the middle of your ankle, a little bit in front of your ankle. 10 to 12 reps for this, and then we're going to do another superset of the quad extensions and one more set of this. So again, start with your weaker side and then move to your stronger side. Move that leg around, feel what feels most comfortable. I like to pop around a little bit. You can literally start with one leg like this. As you drop back and you come down, you're gonna feel that outer glute engage a little bit. When you drop down, make sure that your knee is just about to touch the ground. Hold that position for a second. Find that tension in the leg and then press back up. You're going to want to lean forward just a little bit with your torso. You're going to feel imbalanced for sure, especially if you haven't done this exercise. You just have to keep on repeating it and test out what feels right for you. Remember, you don't want to be leaning too far forward and having the weight on the balls of your feet. And you don't want to be leaning too far back where the weight is just on your heel. You want to make sure that the weight is about centered with the middle of your foot. If anything, just an inch in front of the middle of your foot. So right around the shoelace line. I'd say that's a good point of reference. All right, we're gonna do a side view for this. One more run through with the reverse lunge as a warm up. We're gonna start off with our weaker side first. Drop back. Find that position that's most comfortable down in the seated position. Flex that. You're gonna feel it on the outer glute as well as in your quads. Your knee is about to be touching on the right side. Your weight is centered in the middle of your foot. Your knee is just about above the front of your toes, and you're pressed straight towards the sky. 10 to 12 reps. Switch legs again. Move around on the one leg. Find what feels most comfortable. Drop that left side back. Sit down. You're gonna feel your outer glute. Your leg, oh, a little unbalanced there. Your leg is gonna light up if you're down in this position. Your opposite leg, your knee is about to be touching the ground, and you're gonna press back up. When you're down in this position, most of your weight is gonna be right in the quad right here, and it's gonna be straight in line with your shoelaces. Press straight back up. All right, my knees are dead, my legs are dead. Moving into our first exercise, which is gonna be a unilateral leg press. I like to start off with leg press just because most people usually start off with a squat, and if you're performing a unilateral exercise, squats probably aren't in your program. So this has been a staple to my program. I think that I have the best leg development with the leg press. It offers a lot of stability, and you're really able to load up a lot of weight and build those legs. So I'm gonna run you through exactly how I set up and how you can perform this exercise correctly. So first things first, again, we're gonna grab the outside handles and pull our ass into the seat. Make sure that our back is on the backrest. You don't wanna be rounding your back. You wanna make sure that your spine is fully in contact with that backrest. Now, you're gonna be pulling your ass into the seat. You're gonna lift your left leg or your weaker leg onto the pad. A few tips with your foot placement. The lower you go on the pad, the more quad focused the exercise is gonna be. The higher you go on the pad, the more hamstring focused the exercise is gonna be. If you move your leg out to the left more, you're gonna be working your inner leg. If you move your leg towards the inside of the pad, you're gonna be working more of your outer quad. What I like to do personally is focus on a more balanced approach. I like to use the overall quad just in general. So I go right in line with my hips, and where I feel most of the pressure is in line with my ankle, maybe an inch higher on that shoelace line again, directly in line with my knees. I'm pulling myself into the pad. I'm gonna press away. You don't wanna go too far. You never wanna lock out your knees, all right? Don't push the weight far enough where you're locking out your knees. It's extremely dangerous. You wanna make sure that there's full tension on your quad at all times. So that's about right there. So I'm gonna take the bars down. I'm gonna bring it down slowly towards my chest. I'm gonna let that knee come towards my shoulder in line. And then I'm gonna exhale and press away. Now, a few tips. You don't wanna be pressing on your toes. You wanna be focusing more on your heel as you're pressing away. So when it's coming in, make sure that you're focusing all that tension on your quad and lower towards your glute. As it comes in, you're gonna feel it more on your glute and your hamstring. Press away, you're gonna feel it more on your quad. You're gonna be aiming for 10 to 12 reps, 3 sets. Whew. Oh my God. That was just the first set. My leg is already on fire just from the warm-ups. Unilateral exercises, you're gonna see that your legs tire out extremely fast because you're using all those stabilizing muscles inside of the leg. So make sure you're starting with your weaker side and then moving on to your stronger side next. We're gonna move to the right side. I'm gonna grab onto the outer grips, pull my ass into the seat, line it up. Make sure that my lower back isn't rounding at any point during the movement. I'm gonna push it away. Find the correct tension that feels right on my leg. Feel the most powerful right there. Take the safety bars down, let it drop. And when I'm focusing on my foot as I'm bringing it down, I'm thinking about, if anything, bringing my toes up ever so slightly. So I wanna make sure that the weight is right on the shoelace line in my ankle, if anything, a little bit closer to the heel. As I come back down, I'm gonna feel it load up my glute. I wanna make sure that my knee is in line with my ankle as well as my shoulder, and I'm pressing my knee outwards a little bit. I wanna make sure that my knee doesn't cave in. So when I come down, really make sure that your knee isn't caving in. Hold that tension and press away and exhale. Make sure that your foot is in contact with that pad at all times, and make sure that that pressure and the force is being pushed a little bit through your heel so that it really lights up your quad, and you'll feel it in your glute as you come down. Make sure that knee doesn't concave inwards. Press away and exhale. I'm gonna do one more round, run through it really quick. This is how I like to set up. I always grab this pad, push my ass backwards, really lengthen out my entire leg so I feel everything tighten. I put my ass down, sink down. Now I feel like I'm extremely powerful in the legs. Nothing's cramped up. I grab onto the side handles, stick my ass into the seat, put my back on the pad. Sometimes I like to roll my shoulders back to really make sure that I have core engagement. My chest is up, I'm not concaving my chest and cutting down on my breathing. I like to keep my core tight, lift that left leg up because it's my weaker side. I put it in the middle of the pad. I feel where it feels most comfortable. I move my knee around. That feels about right. My knee is in line with my ankle. I press out, it's locked in. I'm not going too far. Take off the safety bars, drop it back. Once I come down to the eccentric position, I feel it a lot in my hamstring and my glute as well as in my top quad. I exhale and press away. I inhale on the eccentric and exhale on the concentric. 10 to 12 reps, 3 sets. Now, a big thing, if you feel like your hips are a little bit uneven, where I feel like when I'm doing a squat or any other type of leg exercise, my hips like to shift to the right. So when I position myself inside here, I grab on tight. I really make sure that my left side is engaging. My hips aren't shifting to the right. I engage the left side of my core a little bit. I feel my lower left back. I engage that so I make sure that everything's straight and centered. And then I set up for my position and go for the set. Again, making sure that knee isn't concaving inwards as you come down. Push straight through those heels and keep those feet on the pad. All right, next exercise that we're getting into is gonna be the Bulgarian split squat. This exercise is gonna focus mainly on your glutes as well as your quads once again. To make sure that you're properly setting up for this exercise, you're gonna start off with your weaker side first again. That's gonna be your extended leg. What I like to do is sit down on my right side, pull my ankle on the pad, stand up straight, adjust my foot where I feel like I'm centered, my hips are straight, and when I drop down, again, I'm in that reverse lunge type position. So I feel it on my outer glute, I feel the tension on my quad. I can pick up the weight, which is in line with my ankle, and I'm gonna lean forward a little bit, I'm gonna extend. I like to be a little bit farther out, so sometimes I like to hop around, find where I feel the best. I'm gonna drop down and do 10 to 12 reps. Come down here, hold it for a second, exhale on the way up. Make sure that you're pushing your knee outwards a little bit. Make sure that it's not concaving. You're really gonna feel tension in your quad, your outer hamstring, and your glute. Make sure you're leaning forward a little bit. Your center of gravity is right above that heel. Your knee is coming down basically in front of your toes, maybe in line with your toes, and press straight towards the sky. Press through that heel. All right, we're gonna set this up at another angle for you guys to look at it in a different perspective. Again, I like to put my right ankle on the pad, sit down in it. You can see that my ankle's on the pad, my left foot, my knee is stacked above my ankle. I like to put the weight right next to my ankle, stand up straight. I like to push my outside foot a little bit farther away just to make sure that my center of balance is right on top of that left leg. I drop down, grab the weight, keep my weight close to the left leg, and press straight through the left heel. You're gonna feel it in your outer glute, your outer hamstring, and your quad. feel like I found a little bit better position to start off with. Again, my left ankle is on that pad. I can start off with my left knee on the ground. My right leg is out. I have my knee stacked above my ankle. I grab the weight, lean forward a little bit, engage the core, make sure that my ass isn't rounding in. It's in line with my spine. Keep a nice tight core. If anything, you want to put more of your weight on the outside of your leg. Make sure that knee doesn't cave in. And push straight towards the sky. You're gonna feel it in your glute, your quad, and your hamstring. All right, here we go. Moving into our next exercise, we're gonna be doing a hamstring curl, unilateral. Again, most important point is to make sure that your knee is in line with the pendulum point. So on leg machines, there's gonna be a pendulum point where the weight is supposed to be moving like a pendulum on. Make sure that your knee is in line with that. So on this machine, it's right here. You're gonna see my knee lined up exactly with that. What I like to do is create tension on the leg before I contract it. This feels comfortable, everything feels aligned. Now, with a lot of people, they think that once they lift it up, that their ankle should be in line with their knee. But personally, I think it's a little bit more comfortable when my ankle shifts outward just a little bit. So as you see, it's gonna be hard to see from that angle, but my ankle is definitely pointing outwards away from my knee ever so slightly. And that's where I get the best contraction on the hamstring. You don't need to go too far. Sometimes you're gonna deload the muscle. Make sure that you're keeping the tension on the muscle at all times. Let it lengthen. Inhale as the way down. Exhale on your way up. 10 to 12 reps. Once you burn out, you can do some half reps. And then let the weight down slowly. And you're good to go. So now we're gonna move to our right. A common mistake with this machine, a lot of people like to load it too heavy. And once they start to tire out, they start to cheat by using their lower back and trying to chuck it up. And you're gonna start to see that they're tightening their lower back. You wanna make sure that your stomach stays on the pad at all times and you're just bending from the knee. Make sure that you're contracting that hamstring and then lengthening it. Contract the hamstring and then lengthen it. Make sure that you're staying on the pad. You're not cheating with the lower back. You're not pulling up to try to get the weight up there. Control the weight, perform solid reps, 10 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. Flex my ankle, so I bring my toes in and keep my heel out. As you can see, that's how I feel the lengthened hamstring, and I keep the tension on it at all times. Oh my God.